Jesus had again crossed over by boat to the other side of the lake. A large crowd gathered around him while he was by the lake. Then one of the synagogue leaders named Jairus came, and when he saw Jesus, he fell at his feet. He pleaded earnestly with him, "My little daughter is dying. Please come and put your hands on her so that she will be healed and live." So Jesus went with him. A large crowd followed and pressed around him, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had, yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak because she thought, "If I just touch his clothes, I will be healed." Immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people crowding against you," his disciples answered, "and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet and, trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." While Jesus was still speaking, some people came from the house of Jairus, the synagogue leader. "Your daughter is dead," they said. "Why bother the teacher anymore?" Overhearing what they said, Jesus told him, "Don't be afraid, just believe." He did not let anyone follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they came to the home of the synagogue leader, Jesus saw a commotion, with people crying and wailing loudly. He went in and said to them, "Why all this commotion and wailing? The child is not dead, but asleep." But they laughed at him. After he put them all out, he took the child's father and mother and the disciples who were with him and went in where the child was. He took her by the hand and said to her, "Talitha koum," which means, "Little girl, I say to you, get up." Immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. She was 12 years old. At this they were completely astonished. He gave strict orders not to let anyone know about this and told them to give her something to eat. Mark 5, verse 21 to 43, Jesus' miraculous healing in Mark 5 is not just a story. It's a game changer for anyone seeking hope and transformation. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful and awe-inspiring passages in the Bible, Mark 5, verse 21 to 43. This incredible section of Scripture is packed with themes of faith, healing, and the transformative power of Jesus Christ. At the heart of this passage are two remarkable individuals: Jairus, a synagogue leader, and an unnamed woman who's been suffering from a debilitating condition for 12 long years. As we explore this passage, we'll see Jesus' willingness to heal and restore those who are desperate and helpless. We'll witness the incredible faith of the woman with the issue of blood, and we'll be moved by Jairus' urgency and desperation as he seeks healing for his dying daughter. These stories are more than just ancient accounts of miracles. They're invitations to experience the life-changing power of Jesus Christ for ourselves. So let's dive in and discover the incredible truth of Mark 5, verse 21 to 43. When Jesus arrived in Jairus' town, the synagogue leader fell at his feet, begging him to come and heal his 12-year-old daughter, who was at the point of death. You can sense the urgency and desperation in Jairus' voice as he pleads with Jesus to help him. This was a man who had tried everything else, and now he was placing his trust in the only one who could truly help. Jairus' situation was dire, and time was running out. His daughter's life was hanging in the balance, and he knew that Jesus was his only hope. As we explore this narrative, we'll see that Jairus' faith was being stretched to the limit, and that his desperation would ultimately lead him to experience the incredible power of Jesus Christ. The scene is set. Jesus is on his way to Jairus' house, surrounded by a crowd of curious onlookers. The atmosphere is tense and the stakes are high. Jairus' daughter is clinging to life and her father is clinging to hope. As Jesus made his way through the crowds, a woman who had been suffering from a bleeding disorder for 12 years reached out and touched the hem of his garment. This was no accidental touch. It was a deliberate act of faith, an expression of her deep-seated trust in Jesus' power to heal. The woman's story is an extraordinary one, marked by determination, perseverance, and ultimately triumph. For 12 long years she had been suffering, and for 12 long years she had been searching for a cure. She had tried every remedy, every treatment, and every doctor, but to no avail. But then she heard about Jesus, and something deep within her stirred. Maybe it was his teaching, maybe it was his compassion, or maybe it was his miracles, but something about Jesus sparked a fire of hope within her. With a newfound sense of determination, she pushed her way through the crowds, driven by a fierce desire to be healed. And then, in a moment that would change her life forever, she reached out and touched the hem of Jesus' garment. The moment she touched Jesus, the bleeding stopped, and she knew that she was healed. This was no minor miracle. It was a life-changing, destiny-altering, and faith-building experience. Jesus felt the power go out of him, and he turned to face the woman, saying, "Who touched me?" The disciples were perplexed, wondering how Jesus could know who had touched him in such a large crowd, but Jesus knew because he had felt the power of God flow out of him. He had felt the faith of this woman, a faith that was pure, genuine, and unwavering. When the woman came forward, trembling with fear, Jesus spoke words of comfort and reassurance, saying, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." In this moment, we see the heart of Jesus, a heart that beats with compassion, love, and a desire to heal. We see a God who is willing to touch the untouchable, to love the unlovable, and to heal the unhealable. The woman's story is a testament to the transformative power of Jesus Christ. It's a reminder that no matter what we're facing, no matter how dark the situation may seem, Jesus is always there, ready to heal, restore, and transform. But Jairus' story takes a dramatic turn as he receives the devastating news that his daughter has died. The messengers arrive saying, "Why bother the teacher anymore? The child has died." Can you imagine the emotions that Jairus must have felt in that moment? The grief, the anger, the disappointment, and the doubt. It's as if the rug has been pulled from under his feet, and he's left standing on shaky ground. In this moment, Jesus turns to Jairus and says, "Don't be afraid, just believe." These words are more than just a gentle reassurance. They're a call to radical faith, a call to trust in the face of overwhelming adversity. The emotions must have been running high, but Jesus takes Jairus, the mourners, and the disciples to the little girl's bedside, where he speaks words of life and power, saying, "Talitha koum, little girl, get up." The response is immediate, and the little girl gets up, completely restored to health and vitality. The astonishment of the onlookers is palpable, and the sense of wonder is electric. In this moment, we see the sheer power of Jesus Christ, a power that can conquer even death itself. We see a God who is willing to intervene in the most desperate of situations, a God who can bring hope to the hopeless and life to the lifeless. As we reflect on these two incredible stories, we're left with a profound sense of awe and wonder. We're reminded that the power of Jesus Christ is not limited to ancient miracles. It's a power that can transform our lives today. These stories invite us to reflect on our own experiences of faith and healing. They encourage us to ask ourselves, where am I placing my trust? Am I seeking healing and restoration in the right places? Do I believe that Jesus has the power to transform my life, no matter what I'm facing? As we close this video, I want to encourage you to share your thoughts on these stories in the comments below. Let's continue the conversation, exploring the implications of these miracles for our own lives and faith. Thanks for joining me on this live, incredible journey through Mark 5, verse 21 to 43. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more biblical explorations and discussions. Let's continue to discover the transformative power of Jesus Christ together. May the healing and blessing of God be with you and your loved ones. See you on the next.
I appreciate you taking the time to watch and be here. If this video resonated with you or touched your heart, please consider supporting the channel by buying me a coffee. Simply scan the QR code or click the link in the description below. Your generosity keeps this mission alive. See you soon. God bless. If you're looking to overcome depression and anxiety by strengthening your spirituality, I invite you to check out my ebook, Soulful Transformations, Bridging Faith and Mind for Lasting Wellness, available on Kindle. This book combines cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, with biblical wisdom to help you manage stress, tackle anxiety, and find lasting peace through faith. It's not just about mental health. It's about deepening your relationship with God and transforming your life in ways that inspire others. Check the description below for the link and take the first step toward a life of spiritual and emotional wellness.